5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The pit stop is vital to every race team's success. Pull off the track, let your team go to work.
Outside, clear.
Change all 4 tires, fill the fuel cell, and make needed adjustments, all in 8 seconds or less.
Whoa, what a past weekend in IndyCar. Fast and furious. It was a chaotic race. Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Road America. Wonderful. I'll tell you all about it in just a moment. Hey, this is the Pits Are Open. Your host, Will Marotti, Alex Smith, our producer-engineer. You folks watching on Speed Sport, thank you so much, or perhaps as a recorded piece. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Comments are always welcome. We look for those. Also, I'd ask you to follow us on Spotify and go to our website, thepitsareopen.com. Look at the top of the page. There's a banner there. You click that on. Sign up for our weekly newsletter. It's free. We'd love to have you in the audience for the newsletter. We give you upcoming events on the show and the program, and also some really great articles from Speed Sport, our great partners in racing journalism. I got a good show for you today. Yeah, we had a crazy, that was a fun race. Road America. I felt really heartbroken for Marcus Armstrong, though. Marcus was leading most of the race. He had the fastest car, it seems like, for the weekend, and lost the motor with just laps to go. And I happened to see Christian Lundgaard, McLaren, get his second victory of the year. Both McLaren victories, I believe, now are Christian, which is great. And of all people, our favorite, Will Power, made it to the podium. It was an amazing, kind of sad happening at the end. He had a little fender bender with Graham Rahal. I don't think it was, I just think Will didn't see Graham. They were going through it side by side. I think Graham moved down a little bit. Will didn't see it and kind of caught him and spun him and punted him a little bit. I don't think that was an intentional thing at all on Will's part, but nevertheless. So good finish, exciting finish, and it was a good race. But I'll tell you what, the most entertaining race of the weekend for me was, and I don't normally watch the Craftsman Truck Series. I'm not a big truck fan. I like racing in general, but I'm not a big truck fan. But I watched the truck race Saturday, and primarily because our good friend and board member on Speedway Venture Studio, Adam Andretti, was in the race. And boy, what a fun race that was. Adam was starting back of the pack, drove through the pack, flirting with the top 10 at one point. I think he started like 25th, 26th. So he was way back there. And ended up 15th. And this was like a demo derby. I mean, to watch these truck races, it really was very enjoyable. I mean, the track, first of all, it was at a naval base, surrounding a naval base. And, street courses, for the most part, are zero elevation changes, multiple surfaces. You've got concrete, you've got new asphalt, old asphalt, you've got painted lines everywhere. Hard to really maneuver around that. But the thing was, man, these trucks were going sideways. They were hitting the wall so hard. It was an interesting race, enjoyable. I really liked it a lot. So anyway, Adam Andretti will be our guest next week, and he'll share all the ins and outs of Craftsman truck racing. So it was a lot of fun. But I am so excited about the progress that we're making with Speedway Venture Studio. Speedway Venture Studio is a new undertaking. It is really, I think, the future, the model of how racing will be funded in the future, and not that we will eliminate sponsors entirely. We'll always need sponsors, but we're building the model that will become the teaching template for drivers and teams to be able to develop their own sources of revenue, their own revenue streams, their own verticals, to be able to reduce the dependency on traditional sponsorship. And I talk to drivers all the time who are struggling because they only get so far. A lot of times mom and dad will they start out in carts, mom and dad are paying it, or they start out in, my favorite, the quarter midgets. They start out there, mom and dad are paying the bill, and every time new level, new devil financially, right? They got to take the money up and and then eventually, for most people, not true if I won't mention any names, but not true for all people, but most people, they run out of money and they top out at a certain level, right? And so that's the career. And so you get a lot of folks sitting on the sidelines, looking in, trying to figure out what's going on. So go to LinkedIn. Go to my LinkedIn page, Will Marotti LinkedIn, for a new article on why parents should raise racers, but they should train CEOs. And I think this is the mindset shift that has to take place. Yes, racing is important. Racers are important. Racing, focusing on your racecraft is important. Focusing on all the things you need to learn to become a really quality race car driver is important. But you also have to study the business of motorsports, and you have to understand that you are the brand, and you have to have your own. You have to bring your own money to the table, and why not use what you already have and produce revenue? I'll tell you, sponsors, I've talked to hundreds, thousands of sponsors in the last 10 years. And one of the questions that I get asked frequently is, well, who else is involved? They want to know, are there other sponsors involved? You know why? Because they don't want to be the first one in, and they certainly don't want to be the only one in. I watched an amazing special the other day on ESPN, 30 for 30, where it was the Naismith rules of basketball. When basketball was first invented, there was a document of basketball rules. And for some reason, and I didn't see the whole show, but for some reason it was connected to the University of Kansas University. And so an alum from the school decided to go on a quest to raise money. These rules are being auctioned by Sotheby's, and so he went on an effort to raise the money to buy these rules at auction. They're the original rules by Mr. Naismith, the inventor of basketball. And long story short, he was able to get a funder, someone who's sympathetic to the cause. He found a lot of people, former coaches, current players. He found a lot of people that are sympathetic to the cause, having that document, basketball rules, where they belonged in the Hall of Fame at University of Kansas. But he found one person who would pledge $1 million to purchase these rules of original document, completely authenticated by Sotheby's, and so they had the auction, and the rules for basketball went for $3.8 million by this guy that only pledged $1 million, and it was like they won the Super Bowl. But here's the deal. Very few people have that kind of money. Very few parents have that kind of money. So it's our job to teach drivers and teams, small teams, team managers, small team owners, how to produce additional revenue to help offset the need of sponsorship dollars. And somebody who understands that perfectly, possibly has a better understanding of anyone in the country, will be our first guest. We're going to go to a break in just a minute, but our first guest is Brad Hayes. He's been on before, a good friend. Brad Hayes is going to be on. He is the owner-operator of the Kenyon Midget Series, and he understands it because that's where a lot of kids start. They go to him to start, and he has been a developer of drivers for years. He has spent more than a decade involved in grassroots driver development, how to prepare them for advancement. And of course, I'm an open wheel guy. I always have been. So I love anything without fenders. I don't care if it's a sprint car, Silver Crown car. I don't care if it's a high limit car. I don't care if it's a midget, quarter midget, half midget. I don't care what Indy. I love them. I love them. So Brad knows as well as anybody the challenges that young drivers and their families face when they're trying to kind of bootstrap the kid's career. It's hard. It's hard. So we'll talk about that with Brad. But I want to encourage you, go to svsinsiders.com. Write that down, svsinsiders.com. We have a special running only through the end of this month. We're looking for founding members. We've got some already. We want more. if you go to svsinsiders.com and you go to the annual membership button, and we'll give you a code, and you can get a $50 discount savings on your annual membership. And we'll tell you more about that later in the show, so don't go away. And we return Brad Hayes, the operator, owner of the Kenyon Midget Series. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This segment is brought to you by Schaefer Manufacturing. Schaefer Oil. When performance is non-negotiable and equipment is pushed to the edge, Schaefer shines. This is protection that shows up when things get pushed to their limit. Their advanced lubrication technology reduces friction, runs cleaner, lasts longer, and it helps prevent the kind of breakdowns that cost time, money, and momentum. That's why professionals in trucking, farming, and racing all trust Schaefer. No gimmicks and no shortcuts. Just performance that holds up. Learn more at SchaeferOil.com.
All right, welcome back to Pits Are Open. It was a great weekend for racing. I really enjoyed that truck race. That was so much fun, and the very enjoyable IndyCar race at Road America. Our first guest, as I said, understands at a heartfelt level the challenges and struggles that young drivers and their families are going through as they're trying to get into this world of racing that we love so much. And he's done a lot over the years, and amazing since he's gotten this series. He's done a lot with this series. So impressed with all that Brad Hayes has accomplished so far, and has a long way to go. So let's welcome for the, third time. Anyway, let's welcome back Brad Hayes. Hey, Brad.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. Thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
How long have you had the series now?
Good question. I always forget the exact date, but I think we started the series took over in 2022 season. So
okay, so
yeah.
4 years. Okay.
Yep.
And I also I saw you're racing at a new track in Toledo this year.
Well, we were supposed to race Toledo last weekend. We ended up getting rained out, unfortunately. So we're looking to see if that's one's going to get rescheduled or not. It's kind of tough with the schedules throughout the season to see if we can find a date that works, but we're still working on that. So we may end up going back to Toledo. They have a short track on the infield. So we were going to join up with the 500 Sprint Car Tour, who was racing on the big half mile, and then we were going to run the midgets on the quarter mile on the same day, which would be cool.
It's so cool. I love what you're doing. I love the series. How many races on the schedule this year?
We've got 13 races scheduled this year.
Wow.
So we try to keep it in that range. Try not to kill people with a huge schedule where you're racing every single weekend. Yeah. Also gives us some time to do some other stuff that we're working on as well. So a little bit helps us both out on the teams and myself.
And you're at Brad Hayes Racing. What are you guys running?
So we do have 3 cars that we do for the Kenyon Midget Series. We're actually helping another customer out with their car this year as well in the Midget Series, but we also run the 500 Sprint Car Tour with Jackson Masenko. And then we've been running some USAC Silver Crown races with Masenko as well. So
no
that's
kidding.
Been pretty cool. We ran Gateway a couple weeks ago with IndyCar Series, and Jackson had to start from the tail. We had an issue with a tire in qualifying, so put a new tire on, started from the tail, and drove all the way up. It was up in second at one point, but ended up finishing third. So that was pretty cool to see that. You talk about the driver development too. Jackson's one of the drivers that came through the Kenyon Midget Series, so it's cool to see him continuing to excel as he climbs up the ladder.
Sure. So you get a lot of these guys. I mean, they're raw coming to you. Right? I mean, they may not have a lot of experience. Maybe karts, maybe I don't know, quarter midgets. But what do you find when they get into your series, Brad? I mean, I'm going to guess that none of the drivers are paying for themselves, right? Mom and dad are paying. Is that
yeah, I mean, it's a mixed bag. There are a few that are going out and chasing sponsors, and sometimes it's friends and family, sometimes it's corporate connections that they have to help them fund it. But yeah, a lot of times it's mom and dad helping out.
And you have an incredibly economic model to get folks in the car. How long typically will they stay with you in the Kenyon Midget Series?
I mean, it really just depends. We've got some that have stuck for several years, and it ends up being their home. They're not necessarily looking to move on to something else. It's been a good home for them, whether it's from a budget standpoint or the schedule or the type of racing or whatever. And then there's others that may race 1 or 2 years and move on to the next thing up the rung. So
what when you say the next, is there a typical next level or a typical next series type of car? What is?
Yeah, most of them are making a jump into sprint cars after running the Kenyon Midget Series. So whether that be pavement on the 500 Sprint Car Tour or On the dirt side, we've got drivers that are moving up into 410 sprint cars on the dirt as well. So it gives them a good foundation, gives them the basics that they need to learn, the racecraft, even the mechanical bits of it. The cars are very similar from a mechanical standpoint to a full sprint car. So.
Well, the thing I like about, again, this isn't a dig because I don't mind anybody that's driving or any series or whatever they're doing, but to go from like go-karts to anything is difficult because karts aren't really cars. I mean, they don't have the same dynamic, they don't have the same movable parts, but you do, right? So when you have a Kenyon Midget and you move to a sprint car, you have a similar kind of creature that you're moving from.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, how do the guys, when they leave the series, your series, and let's go into a sprint car series, do they find the adjustment, easy? I mean, not easy, but easier? Do they find the dynamics are similar from car to car?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think the two best examples here in the last couple of years has been Jackson Masinko and Trey Osborne. They went different paths. One went dirt, one went pavement, but Jackson jumped into the 410 sprint car on pavement and was rookie of the year in that series the first year. Trey jumped into a 410 sprint car on dirt and was doing really well at the local tracks and has now won USAC races. So,
wow.
Those guys are good examples of making that jump and showing that you can do it. So we've had others as well. There's been a couple more here recently that are making the moves. So yeah, it's exciting to see.
Do you typically pair with, you mentioned the 500 sprint car, do you typically pair with a series that's already activated and run with them as they're at the track?
Yeah, we try to as much as we can. The good thing about our partnership with the 500 Sprint Car Tour is it gets us into some really cool events, gives us the chance to race at a track like Toledo. It gives us a chance to race at tracks in Michigan like Berlin and Owasso, which are just phenomenal facilities. We wouldn't necessarily be able to go to those tracks on our own, but we can team up with them and go on and be a good support class for the night of racing with them. It gets us good streaming service as well. Gets us the exposure that we're trying to get for some of our drivers.
Sure. So, I mean, there's got to be an economy of scale, right? You're not going to a track on your own by yourself, having to pay for whatever the expenses are. You're sharing that with whatever series you partnered with, right?
Yeah, and we do some of the local tracks here in Indiana. We have races without the 500 Sprint Car Tour, but we're part of their Saturday night show or whatever. Like the Speedrome, for example, Indianapolis. We'll race there 3 times this year. And, each night it's with a different group, depending on what other classes they might have had scheduled for that night. We'll come in and join them as well.
Is Anderson another track that you frequent?
Yep. So Anderson will race 3 times this year. We just had our second race at Anderson this past Saturday night. So we'll race there again at the end of the year. That'll be a special race for us. That'll be the Don and Mel Kenyon Classic. We run a big 75 lap feature for that one. That's also our final race of the season. So we'll be running the biggest race. We'll be crowning our champion and everything in one night there.
Well, it's like the Super Bowl for you guys, right?
Yeah.
So now let's talk about the commitment of resource. So again, your series is very economical compared to most racing. Let's say I'm going to move now with you 2 years. I'm going to move into a sprint car. I'm going to move to a Silver Crown car. The step up financially is pretty significant at that point.
I mean, I guess maybe that's the bad part about our series being so economical is that it makes that next step a pretty big jump financially. Yeah. But there's different ways those drivers can do it, right? Like Trey initially started running just the local dirt tracks here around central Indiana, so he didn't have a lot of travel expense. Those rules are consistent from track to track. So, smaller tracks, so you don't necessarily have to spend a ton of money on engine stuff. So there's different ways to do it. On the pavement side with Jackson, we've been running like I said, the 500 Sprint Car Tour is a non-wing pavement series. A good thing about that is with a non-wing car on pavement, you don't need a huge amount of horsepower. Yeah. The cars just can't put it down without the downforce. Right. So our engine budget on that side is pretty economical as well. Cool. But you're right. It is a big step up from the Kenyon Midgets into any sort of sprint car, Silver Crown racing from a budget standpoint, for sure. Yeah.
All right, we're talking with Brett Hayes. We're going to take a break right now, show a little love to our sponsors, and we'll be back. So don't go away. We got a lot more to go.
Listen up. Drivers, team owners, driver parents, team managers, and motorsports professionals. What if your future didn't depend entirely on the next sponsor? SVS Insider is the career accelerator platform helping people across motorsports build stronger careers, stronger teams, and new revenue opportunities beyond sponsorship. Get direct access to industry leaders, practical strategies, exclusive resources, live workshops, and, most importantly, a community focused on moving forward together. If you're serious about growing your career or organization, join us today at svsinsiders.com and become part of the movement that's changing how motorsports is funded.
All right, welcome back, Pits Are Open. That was a timely commercial, SVS Insiders. We've got a special running just through the balance of this month in June. We're looking for our founding members to be part of the team. If you go to svsinsiders.com, you'll go to a landing page, and it has all of the detail, all the information you'd want about it. If you decide you'd like to join up, there's a monthly charge, an annual, but if you go with an annual membership just through this month, when you click on that, it takes you into the community, and you can apply this discount code, and it's a difficult code. It's very complex. All right, it's discount 50. Doesn't matter upper or lower. Doesn't matter. Discount 50, and you'll get $50 off the annual membership. We have monthly Zoom meetings. We have weekly updates. All kinds of resources for you, and it will really help you not just focus on your driving. It'll help you focus on your business, your career. Good for parents, good for drivers, good for team managers, good for anybody. So svsinsiders.com. All right, let's welcome back Brad Hayes, the Kenyon Midget Series. So you've had 4 years almost under your belt now. Is it what you expected? Is it, not everybody buys a racing series. That's kind of an unusual thing. Any surprises? What would you say 4 years into it now? Yeah, it's what I expected. This isn't what I expected. What would you say?
Mostly it's I think what I expected. I think it's some of the stuff behind the scenes that you haven't done before become more of a challenge than you maybe expected. Getting the races scheduled, getting all that stuff set prior to a season. That's probably been our biggest challenge each year, is just getting a nice, good schedule for our drivers, trying to hit good tracks, things like that. But in general, we've been able to keep the racing close. We've been able to grow car counts year after year after year. Competitive. Like last weekend at Anderson, we ran, I think we had 15 cars in the feature race, and I looked at lap times, and they were all within 0.3 of a second on their fastest lap. So
wow,
really competitive.
Yeah.
The new drivers coming in are getting up to speed quickly. They're not far off the veterans. One of our rookies finished third, did a really good job in the race. So yeah, it's cool to see that we can keep it that close. That's been one of our big goals: make it accessible, make racing accessible to some of these drivers, give them the chance to jump up. So that side of it's been sort of what we expected, and it's going well. Like I said, just all the business side of it, things you've been talking about, right? Like not just for a racer or a race team, but a race series. Like how do you fund the running of these races? How do you find the sponsors and find the partners to help you grow the series, year after year?
If money was no hindrance, Brad, who would you hire, or what position would you create that would help you do the thing you like least, or is most time consuming for you, that keeps you from doing other critical things? What would you do?
Really, probably just like a day-to-day series director that could come in and do the day-to-day stuff. Probably the thing I've not done as much of that I would like to do is, look at 5 years down the road, really set the wheels in motion for those things we want to do as the series grows further down the road. During the race season, it's just nonstop, race after race after race. You're getting ready for the next race. You're working with the track. You're getting the schedule for the day set. You're getting the insurance stuff in place. You're getting all those details done, and it really makes it difficult to look further down the road. So I guess if I could find somebody that would do that job and money wasn't an object, that'd probably be the best thing. I could then kind of take a higher overview of what's going on with the series and let them handle the day-to-day stuff.
Mm-hmm. So when you mentioned new drivers, is there like an average? If I said what was the average number of new drivers coming into the series each year? What would that look like?
Yeah, I'm trying to see what we got here. I think we've got 6 rookies this year.
Wow,
that have been running with us. So
that's more than a third of the field.
Yeah, some of them aren't running every race. There's a couple that are quarter midget drivers that are still chasing kind of national quarter midget races and running a few midget, Kenyon midget races this season with an idea to run the full season next year. So a couple of those aren't running the full season, but yeah, we've got a good mix. Just had one, Andy O'Gara's son, Danny O'Gara. So that's Sarah Fisher's son as well. So she's got a long history in midget racing. He just ran his first race. He just turned 12, which is our age limit. So he ran his first race this past weekend at Anderson, and he's the one that finished third that I talked about. So one of the really
that's cool. That's I love the O'Gara family. When we tried, we made the decision in 2015 we wanted to run in the 100th running in the 500. I called every IndyCar team on the paddock. I got one phone call back.
Yeah.
Andy O'Gara.
Yeah, he's great.
No, we ended up not running with them because they didn't end up competing in the 16th season. But yeah, I met with Andy and Sarah, and they were incredibly kind and gracious, and I'll never forget that. That was our first call back was Andy O'Gara.
Andy actually drove some races in the Kenyon Midget when he was younger coming up, and then his brother Kyle was a Kenyon Midget champion and now runs in the 500 Sprint Car Tour, has run Indy Lights, all that. So that whole family's got a long history with the Kenyon Midget Series. So it's cool to see Danny carrying that on as he grows and continues to progress in his career.
We're talking with Brad Hayes. Brad Hayes is the curator of the Kenyon Midget Series. It's pretty amazing that you would buy a series. So I think you might have answered part of the question next. Your young drivers, you got 6 rookies, right? Where are they coming from? You mentioned quarter midget. What other series or what other kind of starting points do these kids have, young drivers have?
Yeah, most of them are coming from karting. I mean, it's either karting or quarter midgets for the most part. We have a couple, though, that, didn't race anything before this, or maybe they had raced some stock car stuff earlier in their lives or whatever and decided to get back into racing. This is a good place for them to come back into it. So, but as far as the young drivers coming in, most of them have some time in go-karts or quarter midgets.
Yeah. And how do they find you, and why the Kenyon Midget Series? What's the impetus to get them over to you?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that's really helped the last couple of years is we've had a few of those kids come from those areas, and now their friends see them racing the Kenyon Midget Series. So they're like, hey, what's this all about? And come and check it out. Like we had one this past Saturday, one of our rookie drivers this year, his best friend is interested in the Kenyon Midget Series now for next year potentially.
Wow,
so
good.
That's how a lot of it is, just sort of, organic growth between the areas that we're racing with. We're lucky here. We've got a big quarter midget community in Indianapolis. We've got a big go-karting community with what the Dismores have done at Newcastle and what, Sarah and Andy did for a while there at Whiteland, and now moved on to having K1 run the Whiteland track. So there's a good karting community here as well. And all of those kids are looking to do something, right? So whether it's formula cars or oval track, we're a good option for them when it comes to the oval track side.
It's so funny because my first live racing experience was at a quarter midget track. My dad took us to one in town. We had one, and still functioning to this day. And the track, in fact, that Joey Logano cut his teeth on. Yeah. And I remember how fascinated I was. And I'm thinking back and saying, man, I wonder if these kids, what do they think about when their third quarter midget race, right? Where are they going to go? Are they going to NASCAR? Are they going to IndyCar? Maybe they're thinking I'm going to go to the Kenyon Midget Series. I don't know, but it's like you wonder what their aspirations are, because it gets, as it's an inverted funnel, right? There's all these drivers coming in, and as they move up, that gets narrower and narrower and narrower to like with IndyCar, you're only going to have 27 cars. That's going to be at tops period over, and but you've got thousands of drivers that want a seat there. So it's I'd love to get in their heads when they're young, and find out what they're thinking and what. I think it's a mix.
Like some just want to go race, whatever it is, right? Other ones, have a path. They've got a plan that they're trying to follow. So,
how many races left this year?
So that was our 4th. So we'll have 9 more races.
9 more, okay.
If we get the rain out rescheduled, so that's the plan right now.
Okay, I'll have to. I'd love to see you guys race at Anderson. I really like
Anderson's a really good track for our cars.
Good track,
it's fast, it's racy. It's got some character, which makes it challenging in some respects. So, but it's a good track. Speedrome's another good one here locally that we run at. That's a good track for our cars.
They've been around forever. Hasn't Speedrome been around forever?
Yeah, Speedrome and Anderson both have been around forever. I'm not sure which one's older. I know Anderson's been around since the 40s, I think, and
really,
Speedrome's probably similar. Okay. So yeah, they're 2 tracks with a lot of history.
All right, so we got 30 seconds left. What's up? What's next for the Kenyon Midget Series in 2027?
So next up is back to the Speedrome. So July, look at the date here, 25th. So we got a couple weeks off for the Kenyon guys. So they'll be going to the Speedrome, and then it's a trip to Michigan to Owasso, August 1st. On the race team side, we're getting geared up to go to IRP this Thursday night with the Silver Crown car. Yeah. And then Saturday, Sunday, we'll be at Winchester, the High Banks of Winchester with the Sprint car.
So is that the rescheduled Hoosier 100?
Yeah.
Okay, because they got rain, I think, when we were out there. How about the series? What's going on? Any big plans for the series next year or beyond?
Just try to continue the growth that we've seen in the last few years, right? We'll keep keep getting new drivers in, get more people interested. We always do a test after the season's over for drivers interested in the following season.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing that again, late September, early October timeframe. We'll try to do that. We've sold a couple of new chassis now, so there's some new cars getting out there for drivers that are going to be coming in next year. We're trying to build up our capabilities here at the shop to continue building more and more stuff in-house and just helping support the series that way as well.
Great. Hey, Brett, thank you so much. Always a pleasure to see you. I love talking with you, and I appreciate so much what you're doing, and keep up the good work.
Thanks for having me, Will. Appreciate it.
Brad Hayes, everybody. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break, a little sponsor love, and then we're going to come back with the one and the only spicy meatball.
This segment is brought to you by Redline Ace. In racing, image isn't extra. It's part of the competition. Redline Ace understands that, and they build visuals that command attention the moment you roll onto the track. Located just minutes from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in Speedway, Indiana, Redline Ace specializes in high-performance motorsports graphics trusted across every level of competition. From custom car wraps and full-team branding to helmets, haulers, hero cards, and more, they make sure that your presence matches your performance. See the difference for yourself at redlineace.com and find out why champions trust Redline Ace to keep their image in victory lane.
Hey, welcome back to the Pits Are Open. So we go from talking about young drivers coming in brand new, some have never raced before, to a veteran driver. Dina Parisi is a trailblazing American drag racer, a 2015 IHRA Pro Mod World Champion. She's the first woman to ever win that title. She was a professional figure skater in ice capades, later turned pro modified drag racing. She powered her Cadillac Stella down the quarter mile, 240 miles an hour. She's known for her dynamic personality, marketing savvy, motivational speaking, and she champions fan engagement, inspires others, especially women and older athletes, to pursue their dreams. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome back Dina Parisi. Hey there.
Hey, good to see you. Thank you for having me.
How are you? Thanks so much for taking the call. It's good. Hey, it's amazing that the world of Pro Mod has exploded. I mean, there is a bunch of people racing Pro Mod cars. Yeah. What do you think? I mean, why the proliferation of that style of racing? What makes it so popular, do you think?
It's exciting. They're always on the edge. I hate to say you never know when anything's going to happen. Kind of a joke in Pro Mod is it's not if, but when. Okay. And I've been the when a couple of times. It's an exciting class. There's, between the different power plants and the people. I mean, Pro Mod drivers, I think we're kind of on our own. Yeah. When it comes to personality.
You're like goalies in hockey. You're odd ducks. You're on your own program.
Yeah. It's a great class, and there's still so much about it that has that grassroots feel to it, even though it's exploded so much and become quite costly. But
so let's go back to 2015. What do you remember about winning that championship, that season? Tell us about it.
Yeah, that season was nutty. It wasn't a huge turnout of drivers because it was the first year that IHRA had brought Pro Mod back. And Bill Lutz and I were pretty much neck and neck for most of the season. And Bill actually was fighting an illness. He had cancer at the time, and he was still racing. And it was we had a great time. We had a lot of fun. Yeah. The Mountain Motor Pro Stock guys, all a lot of fun. John Montecalvo was a good friend of ours. And it was just a fun, exciting season. We had a really good time. That's what I took from it.
So where were you when you clinched the championship? What track were you at when you clinched the championship? Memphis. And were you actually, was it a solo run, or you were competing against somebody?
Actually, Robert Patrick, I was racing Robert Patrick, and it was a pedal fest.
Yeah. Wow,
which is a lot of fun. I love, my husband laughs because he's like, I can't pedal a car like you can. Yeah. And he thinks it has something to do with my skating to be able to finesse the. Okay. But I don't know. I don't really think that much about it. But I was racing Robert Patrick, and it was a pedal fest. I got to the finish line first. And it was down to the wire. It was Bill Lutz was coming up next pair after me.
Yeah.
And Bill didn't make it down the track. And that's pretty much what gave us the championship.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So they kind of, tell me if I'm wrong, but I kind of get the sense that pro mods are kind of almost like old school drag racing.
Yeah.
You know,
that's why I said I feel like it's almost it's still a little grassroots.
Yeah.
It has that feel to it. And I miss kind of the old school, like the crazy paint schemes and whatnot. Yeah. Like I have an idea I would probably do a wrap and not a paint scheme again. But I have an idea, and when the budget allows, I will definitely get that going for sure.
I mean, I remember when I was young and watching drag racing, it was like, guys like Grumpy Jenkins, they're just really hardcore guys that, smoking cigar while he's driving and stuff. It was just it was so cool. It was so
Grumpy
cool.
was the pro stock side, but for pro mod, you have people like Scotty Cannon, who friend of ours we've worked with, and Quayne Stott, Mitch Stott.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of old school, and my old school, and I say old school because we're all in that same age bracket, but female racers too. Yeah. Carol Long, Annette, Summer, Pink, Carolyn Melende. These are women this was before I got into the industry. So these were women that I looked up to, and we're friendly now. We call each other the Babs. We're the badass bees. So, and we have like a little club. and I mean, Annette was pro mod, pro street, and an amazing driver. And Annette's got her Barney car back out. So it's I think the next year is going to be a lot of fun.
It'll be fun. I was looking at social media and I saw a clip. I don't know how old, I don't know how long ago it was, but you were ice skating.
I always get nervous when somebody says
and I'm saying to myself, look at her ice skate. It's such a calm, gracious, graceful, kind of thing. And then she's in there slamming gears at 200 miles an hour. How does that work? How do you, I don't get that. How does that happen?
People laugh because I actually say that the skating and the racing kind of match each other. Okay. When we skated, we went week to week. We went to a different venue every week, just like we go to a different racetrack.
Sure.
We saw a lot of the same people, like the people that worked there. And then the fans would come to the stage door, and here they come to the pit area. So, I traded, that's what I say, I traded my sequins for a fire suit.
Wow. So. I want to talk. We're going to take a break in just a moment. I want to talk when we get back about why the comeback, 2015, 2026. Why come back now? How is the plans for that coming along? What's going on, and how will that unfold? How will the comeback unfold? So I'll talk about all those things, and then my big question I'll save for the bonus round is: are you going to make a skating comeback? Is that going to? All right. So don't go away. Guys, we're going to take a quick break, show some love to our sponsors. We'll be right back with the spicy meatball, Dina Parisi, when we return. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This segment is brought to you by America's Christian Credit Union. If you want your money working for you without stepping away from your values, this is worth a serious look. Right now, America's Christian Credit Union is offering a 12-month certificate at 4.5%. That's one of the highest rates in the nation, and it's all available for a limited time to new members. You can open with as little as $1,000 or invest up to $1 million. It's called a term share certificate, similar to a CD, but grounded in mission. Lock in the rate while it's available. Visit americaschristiancu.com/pits to get started.
All right, welcome back. Pits are open. Good to have you guys on Speed Sport checking us out. Always a pleasure to be with you. Want to encourage you to go to our website, thepitsareopen.com. Across the top, there's a banner there. You click that on and sign up for our weekly newsletter, oddly enough named the Pits Are Open newsletter. And it's free, and we give you a preview of the upcoming show, and also we give you some great articles from our partners at Speed Sport. Joining us now, the 2015 IHRA Pro Mod World Champion, the first woman to ever claim that title, Dina Parisi. Dina, welcome back. Hey, So when you were racing in 2015, you said it wasn't the field wasn't that crowded in 2015. Now it's pretty crowded space, right? So you're going into a class that has a bazillion people racing in it, a lot of cars. The competition is fierce. Why now? Why make a comeback now? Help us understand.
Well, let me clarify too. IHRA had just kind of brought Pro Mod back. So we didn't have the largest field, but there were a lot of Pro Mod races that were happening, different entities.
Okay.
And our intention really was not to stop. We ran 2016 and 17, kind of a limited schedule. And then when we went into COVID hitting and all of that, it just changed the game for us a little bit, the big rig and this and that, and getting rid of the rig just because it was sitting there and doing nothing. Then we literally had to start all over again.
Yeah.
A new rig. We still had the car, and my husband spent the time updating the car in the interim. And then 2022, I lost my brother. 23 started a ridiculous health journey for my husband. And then we lost my mom. So there's so many life things happen where you're like, okay, we're going to do this and we're going to do this. And then it was like, oh, wait, maybe that's not going to happen as quickly as we wanted it to. Yeah. But that's okay. I always say, God makes a reason for everything. So we go at the pace that we go because that's what we need to do. So it's definitely taking longer than we want it, but
that's a comforting thought. The Bible says all things work together for good for those who are called according to God's purpose and love God and are called according to His purpose. And I won't go into details, but I understand another startup that we did from the time that we first envisioned it till the time it started took 7 years. And it was like, oh my gosh, but it was just life happening. This happened, this happened, this happened. So I totally understand what you went through there. So how is the comeback taking shape? When will we start testing? Do we have a goal for a first race in mind, and where we can go from there?
Yeah, and that's been pushed back a bit too. We had 2 testing sessions that got rained out. So Mother Nature has certainly not been. I tell everybody, somebody needs to buy her a chocolate, give her a bottle of wine, and get her a boyfriend because she is just not cooperative lately. And we need to do a little bit more testing, get a little bit more data. And that's how we work. It's always how we've been. We've never been a team to kind of go to an event where you can test there.
Yeah.
To me, to go to an event to test is getting data for that track, for that specific thing. But we need in general. So we like to be prepared. We want to at least get a couple of races under our belt before the end of the season, which is quickly approaching us.
Yeah.
Time is going.
I know it's almost July. Can you believe it? Wow. Yeah. Well, it is July actually, but
you know what?
It's amazing.
Really lucky because companies like Redline Synthetic Oil, Hussey Performance, we've worked with them previously. They're back with us again. Red Horse Performance, Star Racer Belts, and a new partner is P1 Web Development, which we cross paths in SVS Insiders, which has been phenomenal. So I'm happy about that. And Darren Mayer, Speedwire Systems, and X1 Connecting Rods. So we are lucky that although the process is taking some time, we do have companies that are willing, and we like to align with companies that have our same kind of thought process. And we want to be able to say, we like these products, and we do, or these services.
So let me stop you there because you mentioned it. So I want to go back to it. You're one of the founding members in our Speedway Venture Studio SVS Insiders Group. And you were in the first meeting. We have a grid walk meeting every month. We got to all get the team together. It's early, It's only about 6 weeks old, the whole thing. But what are you finding out? So why did you like it? And what do you hope to accomplish with your participation? You've already made one business connection, but what else do you think could happen for people, and why should they get involved in it? I guess.
I think it's like-minded people. It's not so much chasing the sponsorship. It's like-minded people working business-wise together. So it's just changing the game a little bit instead of chasing that sponsorship, having more. I've always called them marketing partners anyway, because to me it's a partnership. I've been in the business for 20 years, but we didn't come from this business. I didn't grow up.
Right. And we don't market it this way. We don't advertise it this way because, I say kind of as that tagline, we're not trying to push you towards sponsors. We're trying to create space. We want to give you other options. And so we haven't advertised really much in the terms of like mentorship. But really, if we've got a young driver coming in, like Taylor Ferns, a sprint car, silver car driver, younger than both of us, but she's been around for a while. She's been doing this for a long time. But we get somebody coming in that's just brand new in a stock car series or a sprint car series. I feel like you guys who've been around this for so long and you've gone through, you've been in the trenches, you really can be mentors to younger drivers and younger team managers as they come in. How do you feel about that?
I think there's a lot to be said for that, especially having been a professional athlete in my life. It's very much the same thing where you're representing companies, large companies, many a time. And knowing that, especially now with social media, when I skated for Ice Capades, we were very boots on the ground, right? It's not the same way now. There's social media. There's remember that the companies that you're working with, it's 24/7 endeavor. Right. You're not, you have to remember what you're doing on your social media. And I don't care if it's Snapchat because, screen grabs last forever.
It's true. It's true.
And you have to, I even had that with my crew people that I've had throughout the years. We have a little meeting and I'm like, look, I don't like this. I don't like this. We don't wear shorts. Sorry, I know even when it's 150 degrees, we don't wear shorts. We don't, we dress a certain way, we act a certain way. And
what do you have, backup guys instead of backup girls? How do you do that?
It's funny. I kind of always wanted a backup guy, but I don't really have one because I don't like someone standing in front of me. You can. I don't like somebody standing in front of me. They back me up over the radio. So probably usually because I don't want to see my husband's face. But keep in mind too, my boys, I do occasionally make them wear a tutu, a light up tutu. So I bust those out every once in a while. So.
Just to keep the Ice Capades alive and well.
Oh yeah.
Right? Yeah. So, what do you if Dina Parisi could write the script any way she wanted to for her comeback, how would it live? What would it look like?
Well, for one, I would love to be able to run a full season.
Yeah. Okay.
7 would be fabulous, and we like to keep the entertainment factor.
Yeah, I like that.
Sometimes I do think that the entertainment factor gets lost.
Yeah.
And that's very important to us. It's why, many of my videos, if anyone watches me online, many of my videos usually you encounter me torturing my husband. It's become a bit of a thing online where people really like that. So, I, of course, I'm happy to oblige.
Right.
And after 26 years, I'm really good at it. And, I want to keep the entertainment in it. Yeah. Of course, I want to do well. And I do want to continuously encourage people. I'm 59. I want to encourage people that are, 40, 50, 60 to get, I'm not saying you have to get in a 3,000 horsepower race car, obviously.
Yeah.
But to not be afraid to go after what you want to go after. I think a lot of society has gotten to the point where they're like, you got to be young. And I'm like, well, maybe not so much. I think experience has a lot to say.
I think experience is invaluable, and I think I'll trade a lot of times. I'll trade experience for youth because you don't know what you don't know, and it becomes a problem. Hey, we are out of time. Thank you so much, as always. A pleasure to see you, and we'll see you hopefully in our next Grid Walk meeting coming up here in a couple weeks. Yeah. And thank you so much, Dina Parisi, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, hey, that's it. It's a wrap for us. Great show. Thank you so much for watching, everybody on Speed Sport. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. It's free. If you're listening, follow us on Spotify. Go to our website, thepitsareopen.com. Sign up for our newsletter and check out svsinsiders.com. We have a June-only special promotion. Use the discount code DISCOUNT50. Get $50 off the annual membership, and you'll have access to folks like Dina Parisi and many, many more. All right. Thank you so much, Alex. Great job. God bless you. We love you guys. See you next week.